harmonizing with nature. With over 4 decades of changing lives, your self-discovery archaeologist, get ready to be the best of you with your host, Beverly Zeimet.
Welcome to the Beverly Zeimet Show, where being you, the best you that you can be, is only getting better. So I want to welcome each and every one of you today, and what I would like to bring to your attention is the poor little me syndrome. Oh my gosh. Have any of you out there ever played that role? Poor little me, right? Poor little me. It's the victim syndrome, and that works with, oh gosh, feeling sorry for yourself, right? When you feel defeated, or if something didn't go your way. Think back at a time when that has happened, when it's just like, man, it's the world against me, the world against me. You blame everyone out there, right? It's like, it can't be my fault, right? It's got to be somebody else's, because I surely wouldn't do this, and if I did, it wouldn't be on purpose. All of these things, these crazy little things that run around in our head, and these silly conversations that we get when the poor little me syndrome shows up, playing that victim role. We're all guilty of it, whether you want to believe it or not. It's okay. And so what can you do? What can you do to move beyond being the victim? Moving beyond playing that role, poor little me. How many people do you know that play that so that they can get what they want? They can make you feel sorry for them, like, oh gosh, they've had a bad day, or yeah, situations in their life are just crazy, so therefore I have to compensate. It's kind of interesting how the human element works, right? Because we all want what? We want the attention, right? We want the recognition. And how do we usually get that? By playing the victim card, the poor little me. Oh, circumstances in my life, they're just so bad, right? My world is falling apart. I lost my boyfriend. Whatever the excuse is, whatever those excuses are, that's part of that whole poor little me syndrome, right? Oh, your world just is upside down. Now, I'm not saying there aren't legitimate things, that happen like that, and we feel heartbroken, or we feel like just so totally defeated and beaten down. It's recognizing what that is, recognizing what you're doing about it, recognizing why it's there, what has transpired. Are we on autopilot with our victim? Are we on autopilot about being that poor little me? Everything in my life goes bad. Everybody's against me. Nobody likes me. Nobody wants to be my friend. Nobody, anybody, everybody. Oh my gosh. All those crazy messages that come, in a million miles an hour. Stop, take a deep breath, and step back and say, wow, how many odd times do I play that victim card? How many times have I really felt sorry for myself? How many times have I just done that, not really knowing that I was doing it, when I'm not the victim? I'm not the poor little me, right? You have the ability to stand up and step out. You have that confidence and that strength in you to do that. But if you don't recognize that you're playing this other role, it's hard to play the role of the other. We talk about this world of duality. So if you're in the world of duality and you're playing over here on this side of the fence, where you're the victim, where you're the poor little me, nobody likes me, everything in my life is upside down, right? Or are you the one over here on the fence? Everything is great. Nothing is upside. Whoa, my life is just a ball of fire. Everything I do, everything I touch turns to gold, all this kind of stuff. Wow, that's a great place to be, right? But sometimes when we're over there and we're in that excitement and that greatness of being and of having that is so awesome. It's the reality sometimes comes in and boom, somebody pulls that rug out from under you, and it's like, oh my gosh, what just happened? And we nosedive into that victim. How many of you done that before where you've been on this high? This is sky high in this rocket, and all of a sudden the rug gets pulled out and boom, you find yourself, flat on the floor, face down, wondering, what just happened? What just happened? Right? So those roller coasters are called life. It just happens sometimes. It really does. But it's the recognizing that these things are happening, and where you can meet in that middle, right? So things keep on moving at a steady pace. You don't have those streaks of highs and the streaks of low. Now, getting streaks of high and coming back into harmony is great. Oh, that feels really good. Well, this is life. It doesn't always happen that way, but the more you believe in yourself and the more you think it's going to happen that way and the more you start living as if it is, the more often that comes. Remember we talked about here, a while back on what the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. It's the same with this, right? So you can achieve being a victim, and yeah, those things really do happen. Or you can what? You can take it to the other side of the fence and have that confidence and start moving up and out of that. Right? So it's recognizing when you play the victim role, and it happens so automatic sometimes that we don't realize that we're actually in that victim role. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I really play this victim role this often. Right? I mean, you start recognizing it, and that's what this whole self-discovery journey is. This becoming that better you is all about recognizing what are the things that are running on autopilot that need to be shifted and changed, right? And upgraded into the new you, right? And that's what it's all about. It's not about pointing fingers. It's not saying that you're this bad person. It's not saying that, you don't know better. It's none of that. It's about always becoming that better you that you can be. And I've been doing this for, well, let's say since 1974, okay? That's a long time ago. And I still work on myself every day. Every day I look for a way to become a better me, whatever that is. And if it's just giving a hand to somebody, if it's helping them out, giving them a ride, doing whatever, buying them ice cream cone. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What's going to give you as you serve others, the more you begin to serve others, you'll find that others will serve you. That's the law of attraction. That's just the way it is. Energies work that way. And we've talked a lot about energies, and this show is all about energies and your belief system and your trust and your confidence. It's all about bringing that back into place. Well, when you're the victim, where's your confidence level? Not so high, right? Not so high. So we want to move beyond that, but you got to recognize first out, first dibs on everything. And you'll hear me harp on this and say it all the time. But until you really start to understand what recognizing the issues are, recognize what you do every day, recognize your autopilot performance, your personality traits. This is what they become, personality traits when they run on autopilot. They're habits. They're just there like that. It's that subconscious. It's built into that cell memory. And that's where we've got to meet it. If we don't meet it there, it will never change. You can bury it and put affirmations on top of it and more affirmations and more affirmations. But what happens when you stop the affirmations? Whoop, they start sliding away. And all of a sudden this little thing down here creeps out. Whoop, and there it is again. Now I'm the victim. Now I'm the poor little me. I'm all back in this. What the heck? I thought I had it conquered, right? So we want to get in there and pull that root out. Right? And that's what it's all about. If you're at that position and you want to start pulling weeds by the root, then make a comment down here. Reach out to me in a private message and say, Beverly, I'm so ready to get rid of these roots. I know I've been cutting the tops off, but it seems like I'm spinning my wheels. And I'm done playing this victim. I don't want to be the poor little me. I am not a poor little me. But it seems to just like show up when I least expect it. When something runs a little bit of amok, that's usually when the victim shows up. That's usually when it happens. Because then we want to give up, right? We want to just say, oh, the heck with it. It's just like, oh, nothing for me ever works out, right? We just automatically go there. And we start feeling sorry for ourselves. Well, let's recognize that. Let's pull that weed out completely by the root so that when that does happen and we run into that little muck, we can say, oh, okay, well, obviously it's not going to work that way. Let me give it a shot and let's go this way. It turns on your creative juices. When you can eliminate playing that role of the poor little me, now your creative juices can take over. Your resourcefulness starts to shine. That's being that better you, right? Instead of being on autopilot about, oh, that didn't work. Poor little me. Now what I'm going to do is like, I should have never done it in the first place. Oh, yeah. Anybody ever say that? Guilty. Been there. Been there more than once. You know, not no more. Not no more. But it takes practice and it takes getting rid of that root. Once that underlying current isn't feeding that message to automatically show up, it gives you time to say, oh, well, I guess it just didn't work that way. So what am I going to do next? Okay, let's see. I did this, this, and that was great. And I added this to it. Oh, there's the culprit. That didn't work. So now what can you do to add it to continue its forward movement instead of its spiral downwards, right? So that's what it's all about, is to becoming that better you. When you can start eliminating the role of the victim, the poor little me. So that's the message of today. And it's time to do what? It's time to say goodbye and go out there and be that best you that you can be. Why? Because I am going to be the best me that I can be. Thank you all for joining me. And don't forget to comment below or private message me. Pass this message on to whoever can gain more. And that is a way to help you start one time today being that better you by sharing a message to someone else. So see you all on the next show. What?